Today we're one step closer to a running engine because I've lubricated the spark plugs and the builder's manual. Dumped an entire quart of motor oil on my counter and it is everywhere. I mean dripping, so small emergency. I'll be back. Okay, that was an exciting start to the day. I was trying to be more prepared, so I was hustling things around on the bench and trying to think this through so that you didn't have to watch me fumble so much for once. And apparently last time I was working on the engine, when I was sealing up all the cover plates, I had just placed the cap on the quart of oil I was using for the gaskets, and I didn't tighten it. Must have been busy. And somehow I moved things around, bumped the bench, something, and quart of oil toppled over. Now I didn't catch it. I didn't see it. So I was busy over here, you know, kind of laying things out and preparing and stuff like this. And then I just turned around because I caught something sort of dripping on the floor behind me here. And almost the entire quart had fallen, leaked over, all over the manual, everything I had over here. So I had to scurry to try and get all that cleaned up. That took quite a while, so now I'm a little bit short on time and I'm not going to be able to do everything I wanted to do on the motor today, but we're going to get some things done. I'm going to try and get the rear main seal in. First, the 4 washers that we had, the shims, excuse me, crankshaft shims that we had measured the end play of the crank before the cases were sealed together, and I've had those set aside in a bag and twist tied together so that I knew they would not get altered. And so those need to go on, and now I know I'll have the proper crankshaft end plate. Rear seal, it's a lot like rear seals of any engine, pretty much a press fit. VW has their own tool which I purchased to do that. I could very well have tapped it in with a plastic head hammer or my rubber mallet, and that would have been perfectly adequate, but seeing how I want this to be as close to perfect as possible, I decided to just spend a few dollars, get the seal so it should pull it in as square as possible. So on this one we have to use the high temp silicone gasket sealer, so we are going to do that. So not wanting to come out. You know what? Maybe a little issue from the last time we used it. I didn't clean it out properly. I tried to a little bit later, but that may have been too late. So let's try to see what we get here. And from what I understand, it's just a light coat around the outer edge. Doesn't need to be excessive, but I definitely want uniform sealer around the full circumference. So put the gloves on because I knew this was going to be a messy task. Alright, that should be good. Just get that started. So, I kind of nickname the engine now as the Aerovee. For those of you that are a little older, you remember that joke. But, alright. I also had to buy a set of large sockets because I didn't know anything up, well, especially metric, up to say, you know, this is 36 millimeter. So, alright, let's see if that pulled in. Oh, didn't get around to telling you about that one yet, but because the next step is putting the flywheel on. So I think I may have overcome the problem of being here alone by throwing a little ratchet strap just around the head on this side for a little bit of downward force. It's not super tight, and this side's not supported at all, so there's no strange pressures being put on either side of the engine here. But I figured if I run a strap around that end, I bolted a 2x4 through the prop hub, and in theory that should allow me to reach 227 foot-pounds of torque, even though I don't weigh 227 pounds. That's not going in square, so we're going to use the hammer a little bit to get it going anyway. Refurbishing the scratches and the gouges in the rubber head with new silicone coating. Alright, so I'm going to slide this back on now, make sure it's pulled in evenly. Now that I've got it all relatively close to the surface of the casings. I don't think I want to go down much past the surface of the casings, but I definitely want to be at least subsurface there. So, bare minimum of flush, and a little bit below is not a bad idea. Alright, we got a little extra squeeze out here. I'm just going to apply in that ridge and that gap a little piece of dried silicone, probably from the threads of the nozzle that I just took off, because it certainly couldn't have dried that fast. Okay. And I'm going to just try and clean off the outside of the case halves here. Try not to wipe too much off of the seal itself. Did I mention that this stuff really stinks? Just sort of use the widest digit I got to smear that off and clean that in. And the smallest digit I got to scoop out whatever may have gotten on the interior of the seal, and let's call that good. All right, now the next task, besides cleaning up my tools, at least getting the bulk of this off while it's silicone. I could let it dry and probably peel it off easier, but done with that now. The next task is going to be getting the flywheel bolted on, and that's relatively simple, other than that 227 foot-pounds of torque that I had mentioned earlier. So another trick is, well, not a trick, it's the dowel pins, the alignment dowel pins here on the crankshaft. They're all equally spaced except for there's two that are closer together. I've marked those two with a Sharpie. Of course, now they're covered with red RTV silicone, but I know where they are. They're the two off in the 11 o'clock position over here, so I already knew that. Not worried about it. And then also in the part that faces me, I had put a dot between the two holes that would go between those two dowel pins, and then I realized I'm supposed to smear that with the silicone also. So, or excuse me, no, the inside with the silicone, and then that's going to give me my alignment to get the flywheel on at the appropriate angle. In fact, it'll only go on one way, but I won't have to blindly be trying to fiddle my way around there. So, all right, let's get some silicone in here. Alright, that's evenly coated, and you know what, let's get rid of one growth. Alright, so there's a little silicone in here. I'm just going to get a little even coat on the outside edge too. Alright. Okay, I've got this big old nut, and what the heck's that washer called? Oh, like a wave nut. Oh, it's a gland nut, and then a wave washer. Sure, took the gloves off. Okay. Next step, new torque wrench. I bought this just for this task, and Funny thing is, I ordered it on Amazon as it was a 1/2 inch torque wrench that went up to 250 pounds of torque, 270 foot-pounds of torque, and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive for a 1/2 inch torque wrench. And it shows up, and it is in fact a 3/4 inch torque wrench. Not a problem. I just happen to own 3/4 to 1/2 inch adapter, and I also need the 1/2 inch down to 3/8 adapter, and I'm hoping I don't snap that off with 227 foot-pounds of torque on that little 3/8 inch adapter, because the only sockets I could find that were reasonably priced in the 36 millimeter were these 3/8 inch drives. So let's just see where this leads us. Uh-oh, 2x4 is cracking. That's going to be the problem. Everything else might hold. Yep, that 2x4 is splitting on me. Be right back. I'm going to try and use some clamps to... I have some here. Let's see if we can't kind of temporarily hold this 2x4. I'm going to be impressed if this actually works, but let's see what happens here. Oh my God. I don't know. I might lose a knuckle here on the table. No, she doesn't have enough downward force. Now, the engine's going to want to lift on the opposite corner. Give her a little more, see what happens. Wish I knew what torque I was at, if I was even close. Like I said, I don't weigh 227, so this might be... I've got a 3/4 inch impact drive, but I don't think that's the solution, because it won't be proper torque. How have you guys got this done? Or have you not done it and you're trying to look to me for advice? Because I'm not sure at this point, without physically bolting this down to the tabletop and quite possibly having to get somebody else or somebody bigger than me to do this for me. I'm not sure how it'll go. I mean, I got leverage, so I don't need to physically... Well, if I had enough leverage, I could obviously easily exert 227 foot-pounds of torque, but would that throw off the accuracy of the wrench? And either way, I still need to stabilize the engine in order to do this. I mean, it's down, it's in there good. If I wasn't worried about the motor flipping off the table, I could quite possibly do this. Hold on. trying to spill more oil. Assembly lube. And move things. Let's rotate that up. Let's pull the whole engine to the back of the table. See if it's a little more centered on the table, if it'll be less likely to want to rotate off. I think that 3/8 sockets don't want to give. Yep, something just gave. And I'm gonna bet, oh, maybe not. I thought this was possibly tearing. Maybe it's pulling that sealing a little farther. No! I was correct. Always go with your first gut instinct. 1/2" to 3/8 adapter did not hold up. So that is an issue. I don't know if I own another one, and it's too late to go anywhere and get one. So I think I gotta stop here. I swear, one of these days I'm going to produce a video that's not going to leave you, disappointed at the end, and hopefully you can all just jump up and cheer and whatever when I actually get to accomplish something without some tragedy taking place. Can't remember where I got this. This might just be a Harbor Freight adapter, so I think we all know the quality of those. So I will try and find a better quality one tomorrow, or at a bare minimum maybe I'll try and run down to some friends' places that are real mechanics and see if I can't borrow a high quality one to do this. It's in, it's seated, it's oriented, it's just not torqued. Now, how important is that to torque that right now while the gasket sealer is still wet? I don't know. It shouldn't really rotate or pull much deeper at all, because you saw that was most of my body weight on there. If you know more, let me know in the comments. It'll probably be too late for me to do it, but if it's absolutely improper, I'll have to take this apart. I will have to pull the rear seal. I'll have to replace the rear seal and start over when I have some better quality tools here. And anyways, I don't know if I should tell Amazon they sent me a 3/4 by accident, or whether their ad is incorrect, but what I ended up doing actually was I bought an entire set. I thought I was buying a 1/2" up to 270 foot-pounds, and then I figured while I was at it I needed some newer ones anyway, so I got a 3/8, which is supposed to be 10 to 80 foot-pounds, and I even got myself a little 1/4 inch, which is 20 to 200 inch-pounds. So yeah, in fact, I'm going to look at the box on this and see if it's mislabeled. Yeah. All right. I don't know if you can see that, but it says 1/2" drive click torque wrench, 25 to 250 foot-pounds of torque. And that is not a 1/2 inch drive. I mean, there's the 1/2 inch drive female right there. That's not going to go on there. So either it's the wrong wrench in the wrong box, and yeah, because the box says 1/2 inch up to 250 foot-pounds, and I don't know if I can get this to focus, but this is a 3/4 inch, and the highest rating on here is 300 foot-pounds of torque. So I may just keep that as a win, and I don't own a lot of 3/4 inch sockets, but I definitely need to invest in another 3/4 to 1/2 inch adapter at this point anyways, and I have plenty of 1/2 inch stuff, so I'm going to write that off as a win and their mistake. So if it didn't let me down at this point in time, I'd probably be a little more honest about it and tell them they sent me the wrong one and request the right one. And to be honest with you, I may still get on and buy the 1/2 inch, and then I'll have a complete set of this brand. I don't really know much about the quality of them. It wasn't a lot of money. I want to say, I think maybe, off the top of my head, I don't remember, maybe $140, $160 for the 3 of them. So I don't expect the world of them, but then again, I don't use them all that often, so they shouldn't go out of spec too much. But okay, once again, sorry for the disappointing video, but we will get there. Stick with me. I know it's going to happen. If you want to stick with me, hit that subscribe button down there. Click the like button to make YouTube happy, and share these videos with your friends. Thanks for watching.